welcome back everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day today and I hope you're ready for what we're going to read today. It's going to be an adventure effing episode and I hope you guys are excited. Let me know down below in the comment section if you're having a good day so far, or if it's nighttime right now, let me know if you did have a good day. And let's get into it. Enjoy, guys. Am I the a-hole for slapping a teenager? I, 32 female, was at a water park this last weekend with my husband, 32 male, and my daughter. We were in one of the pools practicing swimming and keeping to ourselves. There were a group of teen boys there, and while I was working with my daughter on swimming, one of them came up behind me, and I felt a tug on the strings of my top untying it. I spun around and I saw this 15 to 17-year-old with a smirk, and I slapped him. This quickly caused a scene. The park staff got involved as well as the boys' parents who were livid at me. My husband and another lady saw it happen and confirmed that he really did grab my top. There was also a camera around the pool that kind of showed it. Wasn't the best angle. The boys' parents threatened assault charges and I threatened sexual assault charges if they decided to go that way. Eventually we both got asked to leave and we haven't heard anything since. My husband though still thinks I overreacted a bit, which I don't. Am I the a-hole? Oh no, you're not the a-hole, OP. First of all, that 100% would have been like a natural response to slap them. And secondly, this is completely a mess around and find out sort of situation. Like, what did they expect? You can't go doing stuff like that not expecting to get slapped. No, I definitely don't feel like you're the a-hole, OP. It's a mess around and find out situation. What did they expect to happen? Did they expect you to like laugh or something? I don't know if the young guy thought it'd be funny or something, but the intentions behind it don't really matter. You can't do stuff like that without expecting to get slapped. Like, come on, dude, you should have seen that coming. Yeah, the top comment, not the a-hole. That's a natural reaction. I'd probably do the same by natural reflex. And the comment under that says, I'm mad that her husband thought that she overreacted. Disgusting parents as well. Yeah, I don't really understand why your husband thinks that you overreacted. You know, like, obviously it's not good to slap people, but think about it from the boys' perspective though. I feel like they should pretty much expect that to happen if they're gonna do stuff like that. Yeah, no, I definitely don't feel like you're the a-hole, OP. You're startled, you don't know who it is, somebody's touching you and you need to bloody get them off. It's like the one that we read about the person who slapped that person at the barbecue because they were being super awful. Like, it's not like you full on jumped on this person and attacked them, OP. I feel like a slap is an appropriate reaction. Maybe in the future they'll be like, oh, well, I probably shouldn't do that. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole. Number 1, good lesson for the teen boy. Number 2, good lesson for your daughter to voice out no matter what. And number 3, the dumb parents of that teen should be held responsible for that boy's behavior. Bloody idiots to support a loser son. Yeah, 1,000,000%. And also your husband should definitely be backing you up, OP. Kind of annoying how your husband feels like you overreacted. I don't even feel like you had a chance to overreact. It sounds like it was pretty much a self-defense thing and you instinctively slapped them. And also, it's not like it was a little kid. A 15 to 17-year-old boy is definitely old enough to know better. And yeah, why didn't the parents be like, why did you do that, son? No, I don't feel like you're the a-hole, OP. What a wild start to the episode. The next one is called, Am I the a-hole for not telling my parents that the event that they were missing was my wedding? Buckle up, guys. This one is going to be kinda long. So I, 27 female, have a younger brother, Mike, 21 male. He's the definition of a man-child and a mama's boy. Always complaining, always expecting others to bow to him. Just overall an a-hole. Ever since he was born, my parents fussed over him for everything. He's not special needs or had a traumatic birth or anything of the sort. He was just born. And my parents completely discarded me. My mum, 50 female especially. She went from a loving mother to one of those boy mums that people make fun of on the internet. My father, 50 male, still showed me love and support. But he's always been too much of a coward to stand up to my mum and let me win at least once. The only one who stood for me was my grandpa, 76 male, who always called my parents out on their BS and never liked my brother. I remind him of his late wife, my grandma, and we have a very special bond, but he lives on the other side of the country and I could never see him often. Mike knows that our mum prefers him and loves to shove it in my face. Because of this and his behavior, we've always been at odds. He's spoiled, a brat, and an awful human. I can't even remember how many times I ended up in trouble for stuff that I did better than him, or for stuff that he framed me with. His only talent are his football skills. He won a scholarship to a nice college out of state. My parents didn't spend a dime on my education because apparently my fund had been used to cover expenses after a fire, only for me to discover years later that said money were given to Mike to buy a car and a house. Oh god. It's at public university that I met Lucas. He was the first person that I was drawn to there. Of course, I met new people who are now my dearest friends, and thanks to them and Lucas, who was my best friend for years before we got together, I was able to move out of my parents' house. Now Lucas and I are well known in our fields and have very good salaries. Now to the main issue. Lucas proposed to me a year ago. We're very private people, so we didn't post it on social media or anything. And when I told my parents, they dismissed it with a, that's nice. I'm starting to think that they downright didn't listen to me at all. We decided that we wanted a nice but simple ceremony ceremony and reception with our relatives and friends. Lucas convinced me to invite my parents and my brother, but they never responded to the invite, and whenever I went to visit and I began talking about my wedding, without mentioning that it was a wedding, my mum would always speak over me and talk about my brother's accomplishments and wild adventures. At one point I got fed up with it and I interrupted my mum to tell her there was an event that I was planning to organise, whose date was unmovable. She told me that they couldn't attend because my brother was playing the last game of the season that very same day, and they wanted them to be there. Of course, this favouritism didn't surprise me. They missed my ballets, my shows, and both my high school and university graduation for things about him. At this point, I wanted to be petty. I told both my parents it wasn't a problem to miss the event, purposefully omitted the fact that this event was my wedding, and I did not insist further. Fast forward to a few weeks ago, I got married. It was perfect. My family, Lucas's family, and our friends were all there, and we had a blast. My grandpa was happy to give me away, and it was just perfect. My relatives asked me multiple times why my parents weren't there with us. I was honest, and I simply said they had my brother's game to attend, and they couldn't come. They gave me a few looks, and my grandpa was visibly angry for a while, but otherwise nothing strange happened. After the reception, Lucas and I left for our honeymoon, and were phone-free for the whole trip. But once we got back, we discovered there was a crap storm welcoming us home. I turned on my phone, and I was unable to even unlock it before a storm of notifications popped up. Most of them from my mum and my brother. Mike called me all sorts of nasty names and insulted me because apparently one of my paternal aunts posted the photos of the wedding on Facebook and captioned it with a very obvious dig at my parents, especially my mum for missing the wedding. The post apparently went viral in my parents' community, and they've been publicly shamed for their mistreatment of me. It also turns out that my grandpa personally visited my parents to go on a tirade to shame my father, his son, to the point of tears, and this seemed to be my father's breaking point because he was so distraught for missing his only daughter's wedding and for his father's disapproval that he finally rebelled against my mum and is threatening divorce unless she makes it up to me. I think that's the reason my mum has been spamming my phone with messages, at first insulting and threatening and then downright pitiful, full of begging and pity parties. Now I'm at home with my husband deciding how to approach the situation. Most of my relatives, even the ones that I didn't invite to the wedding, reached out to apologise for what I went through and to claim that they had no idea this was happening at home. I can't blame any of my relatives, they all live with my grandpa on the other side of the country in a different state, but my mum's sisters and friends are belittling me for not telling my mum about the wedding because now she's inconsolable at the thought of having missed my wedding. Personally, I think she's only claiming that to save face, but I'm not sure. The latest messages that I've got from my father and mother seem extremely saddened and hurt for missing my wedding. Now my family is divided on 3 different fronts. The majority who is sticking by my side, my maternal aunt shaming me for hurting my mum's feelings, and my maternal grandparents who are adamant that I forgive my mum in light of her atonement. My best friends are telling me not to listen to them, so Reddit, am I the gay hole? Edit, thank you for the feedback and the love, it's overwhelming. I'm going to address the popular questions here. Number 1, I did inform my parents about my wedding. I sent traditional on-paper invites to all of my guests and was notified that all invites had reached their addresses. I did not receive any answer from my parents and Mike, a few very distant relatives and some people on Lucas's side. I did reach out to all of them with a message to double check, and those who hadn't replied told me they couldn't come. I asked my parents and brother via a text, but they didn't respond. I was left on red. Knowing them and given all the stuff that I had to plan, I didn't bother insisting. Yeah, fair enough too, OP. Number 2, I didn't repeat the date of my wedding because I'd already been told that was the date of my brother's game. Plus, every time I insisted on highlighting my celebrations to get an answer, I was always told that it wasn't that important and to not be pissy and to bother because some things were simply more important than me. At this point, I think it's fair for me to not insist anymore. It's not worth the effort. Number 3, I didn't keep my wedding a secret. I avoided telling my parents that it was my wedding to see if there would be any interest in the slightest, but surprise, surprise, they weren't. Despite this, I did openly talk about my wedding with my aunts and my uncles. My mother was in the room with us a few times when I was discussing venues or dress shopping with my aunt, the Facebook post one, but sometimes my mum was on the phone and other times she was just chatting with other people. She never paid attention. When I talked about it during reunion, she smiled and said, "That's great, dear." Radio silence on Dad and Mike. Number 4, I kept in contact with them because, well, all the times I tried to go no contact in the past years, I've been harassed. I tried after my high school, my bachelor's and my master's graduations, to which they never bothered to show up for reasons involving my brother. Every time they were shaming me for daring to turn my back on family by my parents, my brother, my maternal aunts and my maternal grandparents. I think the turning point here is that all of those times, Lucas wasn't by my side. We started dating a little after my last attempt to go no contact, and how that I have him here, I feel more confident in my stance, but before that I wasn't this confident. As I stated already, all of my paternal side lives on the other side of the country and wasn't aware of how they treated me. I did try to expose my parents once at 14. My aunts, uncles and grandparents reprimanded them. They faked being sorry, and then once I got home I got the beating and gaslighting of my life for lying. After that I kept in contact regularly with my paternal side, but admitting my parents' abuse out of fear, which to be honest still haunts me to this day. Only grandpa knew, but he was always threatened to be alienated from me if he tried anything. Number 5, my parents and I are not from the same city. I live in a city an hour drive from my parents' small town. town, and they don't know my new address because once my brother tried to break into my apartment to steal some cash, and my mother backed him up, claiming that siblings shared their goods. Now I moved and I'll be sure not to tell them where I live. And number 6, my parents didn't buy my brother a car and a house before he even started high school. They bought him a car for his 16th birthday and a house near his college when he began freshman year. They didn't spend the money of my fund right away. They just lied to me to use it later for my brother, keeping it stored for later in the meantime. Oh, you're so not the a-hole, OP. Does anybody even think you are the a-hole besides your parents and your brother? Like, it doesn't sound like it. And yeah, 100% go no contact with them, OP. Yeah, and like this comment says, not the a-hole. Your mother isn't sorry that she missed the wedding. She's sorry that everybody found out that she's a terrible mum and was abusive. Ignore her. She made her choice 1,000 times while you were a child. She can face the consequences of all those choices now. Your father you could choose to forgive, but remember, he stood by and watched the abuse and the neglect and the financial shenanigans with your college fund. He watched all of it and did nothing. He's just as culpable. Ignore anybody who has the nerve to tell you it's your fault that your parents missed the wedding, that they were invited to because they couldn't be bothered to pay attention to the kind of invitation that you gave them. You can't fix stupid, and you can't fix a narcissist. Live your best life and let them sort their own mess out. Yeah, and this comment too, not the a-hole. Tell your parents and brother to go and F themselves. You enjoyed your day with people who really cared, and I'd go no contact with the 3 of them so they can have their special little boy forever. Seriously, cut these people off and keep them out of your business and your life. They only came out because they were shamed into it. Yeah, 100%. I doubt they even feel bad. It sounds like they're only pissed off because people found out about it. The top comment says, not the a-hole. Actions have consequences. Mike is the golden child to the point of things being dysfunctional. You've created your life accordingly based on what they've done. Your mum controlling everything and your dad enabling her. And now they're unhappy because they've been shamed about it. Too right. I'm however pleased that your dad might be waking up. Please give a hug or a high five to Mr. Grandpa from me, depending on what kind of guy he is, for the star that he is. You go and live your best life where people value you, OP. And also congrats to both you and your husband. You've done absolutely nothing wrong. Yeah, the audacity of the parents. That's so gross. The next one is called, am I the a-hole for disinviting a friend from an event after she gave my ticket to her sister? Back when Eras Tour tickets were released, my friend Sadie said that she'd grab us tickets and I'd pay her back. We made concrete plans and I was excited. I've been a Swiftie for years, but I haven't seen her live. I had to sell my Rep Stadium tour tickets back in the 2010s because my mum was dying and I needed the money to help pay for medical bills. I booked a hotel. This past weekend I was having a little get together for a bunch of friends and of course Sadie was invited. At some point she pulled me aside and told me that she had news. She's leaving in September. I was heartbroken. We've been friends for years and I love spending time with her. I got weepy and I hugged her a bunch and said that we needed to get all of our thrifting trips in over the summer and hang out as much as we could. Then she broke the news that as a way to bond with her sister before she left, she was going to be taking her to the Eras Tour instead. I didn't know how to react. She stood in front of me and Venmo'd my payment back. She was like, I know you understand. I said that this was a sneaky move and honestly really crappy of her, and I don't understand how or why she would do that to me. She got defensive and said that they were under her name and that she didn't owe me anything. Oh, come on. I was like, yeah, they are your tickets. Legally, you can do whatever you want, but that's still a really crappy and sneaky thing to do to your friend, knowing that there's no way that I'll be able to get my own tickets at this point. She kind of shrugged and said, sorry, but I figured you'd understand. I asked her to leave and I told her to please not come back for the 4th of July party next week. I said I needed to process this and that I'm really disappointed with her and how she treated me. This is a girl who I consoled through breakups, job losses, pet losses. She looked shocked and asked if I was serious. She ended up stomping off and leaving and texted me later to tell me that she's around if I want to apologize for making her feel bad about taking her sister on a bonding trip. I'm honestly heartbroken that I'm going to be watching my show on a grainy live stream instead of being there in the stadium with everybody. I've been looking forward to this so much. I checked the resale sites and I had a sad little cry about it. I'm wondering if I'm completely wrong to have uninvited her. Is that too far? If it was in, say, a month or two, I don't think I would have. I just need time. Hi everybody, and thank you for the responses so far. I just wanted to follow this up by saying that I appreciate the sentiment, but I'm not going to sue her over this. I don't really think that's a normal reaction or something that I'd enjoy doing. Please don't hate me. Yeah, right, so she stood in front of you and sent your money back. That's so wild. Yeah, you're not the a-hole, OP. She can't just do that. She got a ticket and got a ticket for you as well, inviting you to go with her, and you paid her for the ticket that she bought. That's your ticket. She can't just give you the money back and give it to somebody else. You own that ticket now. It's yours. What a dingbat. That's so frustrating. Yeah, this comment, not the a-hole. This wasn't a case where she said, hey, I have an extra ticket for the show for whoever wants to buy it, and you jumped in first. She bought it on your behalf and you paid her for it. The instant that you paid for it, it's your ticket. It was your ticket, not hers. The fact that it was under her name means diddly squat once money changed hands. Yeah, I had to read that again because I wasn't sure if OP did pay for the ticket, but they did because the friend sent them their money back in front of them. What an a-hole move. It's not your ticket, friend. And this comment too, if you had paid her for it, it wasn't hers to give away. She stole it from you. Of course you're going to be angry. And if the friend has got her head in the sand about that, well, she's either incredibly naive or just plain dumb. Anybody who knows anything about this tour knows that these tickets are super hard to come by and crazy high prices on resale. Frankly, she is lucky that you're not suing her to get a replacement ticket. Yeah, and how wild of the friend to be expecting an apology. You don't deserve an apology. And there's no real way that OP is in the wrong. There's a comment that says, not the a-hole, and you're handling this more maturely than I would. That's a genuinely crappy thing to do to a friend after essentially confirming plans. And OP said, how would you have handled it? And they said, grabbed my guitar and started yelling, this is why we can't have nice things. Yeah, you 100% did handle it maturely, OP. You could have flipped out at your friend if you wanted to, but no, you're so not the a-hole, OP. And how the hell does your friend feel like what they did was okay? And how are they expecting an apology? What do you mean? That's so ridiculous. And I don't think that's a friend anymore, OP. The next one is called, am I the a-hole for telling my wife that I'm not okay with her naming her daughter with her sister instead of me? Wow. Okay, before we even read this, you should be naming your child with your partner, not your sister. This one's already frustrating and we haven't even read it yet. My wife, 26 female, is pregnant with her first child. She did a test to determine the sex of the baby early in her first pregnancy, the first trimester, and we found out that we're going to be parents to a little girl. Really quickly, we decided our daughter was going to be named Adora. The name holds special meaning to us. She was always a huge fan of She-Ra and loved the OG show and the remake. We actually bonded over the remake of the show. I, 27 male, thought it was a sweet name, and I loved that it had a deeper personal connection for the two of us. The middle name was still not entirely set in stone, but the first name was. My wife is now 6 months pregnant and her twin sister is expecting a baby boy 3 months after our daughter is due. 3 weeks ago, they started talking about baby names, and all of a sudden, my wife told me that she and her sister decided the baby should have timeless names that fit with their family names. Emily and Elizabeth, James and Haley, their parents William, Hannah and Grace, their siblings. So my wife and her sister chose the name Catherine for our daughter instead, and sister-in-law's son will be Alexander. I was hurt and more than a little peeved. My wife asked me why I had that expression on my face. Oh, come on. And I told her I was not okay with her naming our daughter with her sister instead of me. I told her that we'd chosen the name Adora. She never expressed second thoughts about the name. We were just working on a middle name. I told her I was supposed to be the baby's other parent, not her sister. Yet she takes her sister's opinion on board and decides that they'll name the child that we're having together. I told her I had not expected that from her, that I thought she truly respected me and was excited to be on this journey together. She asked if I was really upset about it, and I said yes. Of course you're upset, OP. I told her I wouldn't lie and say that I was okay about it. I told her that she basically cut me out of the process in the end if she were to go ahead with this. My wife has been quiet since. Her sister was furious with me. Oh, what? For telling my wife that I wasn't okay with it. She told me I should respect their twinness, and I got to make all other decisions with my wife. So why was I being such an a-hole about this? She told me to get over myself, and then she accused me of acting like a child. Am I the a-hole? What? What the hell did we just read? Oh my god, sister, get the hell out of here. What are you talking about? It's their child. You don't get to choose the name because of your twinness. Oh my god, I feel like I'm gonna faint. Yeah, this comment, this subreddit has been such an eye-opener. I literally can't believe the jaw-dropping entitlement and lack of awareness I read about on here sometimes. As to your problem, where are your wife's and your sister-in-law's heads at? Seriously, like not even a temperature check with you first? Maybe you could pass it off as a case of pregnancy brain. I don't know, weird, not the a-hole. Yeah, how could you decide the name of your child without being like, oh, maybe I should run it by the other parent of the child instead of just solely choosing the name with my twinsy sister? Wow, that's infuriating, OP. Yeah, this comment too, twinness? Like what the hell? Is this a new superpower or something? 100% not the a-hole. Yeah, since when did the sister, because of their twinness, get more say than the parent? And the sister's upset with you, OP. What? And also this comment, respect their twinness? What the hell? How about respect my marriage? Not the a-hole. Yeah, that's a wonderful point. And the comment above that too, marriage counseling right away. You are not wrong. Your wife's twin is. Go see a professional and nip this in the bud now. You cannot live your life having twinness in your marriage. Put your foot down and establish boundaries now before it's too late. Yeah, and also this comment, a lot of people are not getting the issue here. There are 2 yeses for the first name. There was clear discussion and communication regarding naming their daughter. Wife decided to change the name without any communication with and input from her partner. She had a whole discussion on renaming her daughter with somebody not her partner. She chose not to communicate that to him. Personally, I think she got caught up in excitement with her sister and didn't even think about the disrespect, and she's quiet now because she realizes that she has to choose who to put first and doesn't want to. Not the a-hole, OP. She she messed up and needs to apologize. She needs to communicate with you before making that kind of choice, as you guys had established doing before, and she did not do it. It isn't about the name. It's not about her wanting to name her child something that you don't like. It's about her making a choice that you weren't involved in, that you should have been involved in, and she knows it. And OP said, this is it exactly. If she did want to change the name, I wouldn't have even argued. We could have talked it out. We could have found a different name that we both loved. Instead, she chose to take me out of it and choose with her sister. No communication or prior warning. Yeah, I can't believe that, OP. And also, what a nightmare of a sister. If they're doing stuff like this, can you even imagine how they're going to be in the future? Oh, I can't believe what we just read. The next one is called, am I the gay hoe for refusing to push my obese cousin around in a wheelchair for a day? My cousin is approaching 600 pounds and requires a mobility scooter, as walking even short distances is very painful for her. In July, she has an out-of-state wedding to attend, and I was asked to taxi her to and from the event, as I'm not currently employed, so my calendar is open. Unfortunately, my car will not carry a mobility scooter, so my cousin will be required to use a wheelchair. The problem is that this event is being held in a public park. I can barely push her wheelchair on a paved surface, let alone across grass and dirt. I tried contacting a couple of rental agencies in the area, but they would not lease scooters in this case because of the off-road use. My aunt and uncle have also declined to loan me their truck, which is how my cousin normally gets around, because I have a pretty crappy driving history. I did look into renting a vehicle that could carry the scooter, but my cousin can't afford to pay for that, and obviously with me being jobless, I can't either. The distance from the parking to the event area is about 40 yards, which my cousin cannot handle walking. About the best solution that anybody has come up with is that the party has a flatbed that they're using to tote supplies from the cars, but my cousin says that she'd feel humiliated having to be rolled in like that. My cousin is furious at me, saying that I'm shaming her by saying I cannot push her, but I feel it's the truth. Like 100% the thin wheels of the wheelchair are gonna dig into the ground, and I'm not strong enough to handle that. My cousin has done a lot for me in the past, so I do feel bad saying no, but I feel like I've looked into every option at this point. Am I the a-hole for not being willing to just go and give it the college try? Also, please don't degrade my cousin. I know I can't stop you, but it's all been said before. Please and thank you. Edit, I never expected so many responses, and I want to express my appreciation to the vast majority who respected my request not to berate my cousin. I also want to thank everybody who messaged me with their own thoughts. I feel like you've all given me some very solid talking points that may hopefully help me with the discussion with my cousin. Thank you all. No, I don't feel like you're the a-hole, OP, and it's not like you're trying to be nasty or something. It genuinely does sound like you've tried everything you can. Like this comment says, not the a-hole. Honestly, you sound like you've searched every possible solution. I don't know why your cousin is furious with you. Yeah, you're not trying to shame your cousin, OP. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole. The reality is that most people can't push 600 pounds on flat pavement, much less harsher terrain. It's not a fat shaming issue. It just isn't something that most people can do. Yeah, and I don't really understand what they expect of OP. And also, it's not like you're not trying, OP. Like, what else are you meant to do? Yeah, no, I don't feel like you're the a-hole, but I do feel like that's enough for today. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you're ready to read something wholesome. When your best friend tells you a story that you don't understand, but you still react to not make him feel bad. Wow, that's so funny. Oh yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I do totally know what you're talking about. Oh, that's so cute. I'm your friend, and I love you very much. The more I grow up, the more I realize it's okay to be yourself. Oh yeah, 100%. And that's a beautiful reminder too. We're all humans on a planet in space. I don't think anybody really knows what they're doing. And yeah, it's so important to be yourself. Hell yeah, that's beautiful. Oh yeah, this one's so cute. Will I ever be as good as the old masters? Will I ever be as good as the old masters? Will I ever be as good as the old masters? I'm the best. I am the old masters, and I'm the greatest to ever do it. Unbelievably beautiful self-confidence. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you had a wonderful time today. And if you did, make sure you let me know down below in the comment section, and also subscribe if you want to. And the comment of the day today goes to Frost Touch 1997. If anybody else but Vincey said this is probably going to be horrifying, I'd run a mile. When Vincey says it, I turn up the volume. Wow, that's so awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you for the support. It's going to be horrifying, but at the same time, it's going to be super fun. I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me. I'm so happy that you enjoy the episodes. And thank you all for watching, guys. You're all absolute legends, and I really appreciate the support. And I'll see you in the next episode. Make sure you look after yourself, and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every single day. Bye!